Hey everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. Welcome to our non-spoiler review for Spiral from the Book of Saw. Before I go into this movie, let me bring on my guest, Austin Estrada. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I am really ready to talk about this. Oh man, this movie. Woo. Um, so Spiral's a movie from 2021, directed by Darren Lynn Busan, who has done who is familiar with Saw. Like he's worked on Saw 2 through 4, I think, according to these Roman numerals. Uh, and most recently, he's also did Repo. It's like what's it called? Oh, the Genetic Opera. So stuff like that. If you're familiar with that, but I mean,
A
he
lot of
definitely
gore.
has been. Yeah, a lot of gore, a lot of body horror, and you definitely feel it in this movie. Um, but the most interesting part of this, I believe, is that who stars in this movie? Chris Rock is our lead for a Saw movie. Sam
Yes.
Jackson is part of this Saw movie. Um, and then we also have
Max
uh,
Minghella.
Max Minghella, who he has been.
Internship.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
That's one of my go-to movies. So Christina hates it because it's like if I can't find anything, it's either End of Watch or The Internship.
What a spectrum of what a weird choice for movies for both. Okay, no explanation necessary. You like what you like.
you know,
Um, So before we get into the actual review, and like I said, this will be non-spoilers. We will have a different video for full spoilers for the movie. So this movie kind of came about because Chris Rock is a fan of the Saw film franchise.
yep,
He pitched the idea to Lionsgate, and they were like, "Yeah, let's do it." And they made him an executive producer and story writer in the movie.
yep,
Uh,
yep.
the movie currently sits in Metacritic at 39 for the critics, 6.6 on the users, and then also on Rotten Tomatoes at a 39 for the critics, 76 for the users or for the audience score. Like I've mentioned in past reviews, Austin and I, and probably all the guests that I'll have, well, not everyone, because I don't know everyone's credentials, but we, we come at this from the audience point of view. We're not movie critics. We don't have any credentials to be movie critics, but we love movies and we love watching movies. So
I took a film class that one time
we feel, you
in
know what?
college.
I've seen a lot of movies, so that should give me some kind of credentials.
That's right.
Old movies, black and white movies, silent movies, everything. I've seen it all. Foreign movies that are not in English. Um, because if I say foreign, they could still be in English, so I have to specify.
That's true.
But anyways, Austin, what are your overall thoughts, non-spoiler thoughts of Spiral? I was gonna call it Saw. Jesus.
I mean, I love it. So, yeah,
Good.
I could have told you I was gonna love it beforehand. Just, I love Chris Rock.
Yeah.
And obviously, like I said, the internship. So I like Max a lot.
Hmm.
Um, so two actors that I really enjoy, and then Samuel L. in it even better. Um, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I liked that there was a lot of callbacks through the way they shot scenes.
Hmm.
Some of the well, I think probably all the traps had a similarity to something that we've already seen. So that was a good callback as well. You can definitely tell that it's somebody who loves the originals and the original series,
Yeah.
and is definitely trying to be different, but at the same time make sure that it's definitely ties into that similar style.
Yeah. And if it's and it because the director is Daryl Lynn who did the first four, I think those are the ones that I watched and I very much enjoy.
Yeah,
Like I think the first two, well, I guess he didn't direct the first one. That was James Wan. But he did 2 through 4, which I'm still pretty much on board with. Like the traps, the story, everything was still pretty much working for me. It did get a little off the rails after that,
yeah, Yep.
Uh, but when you're 8, 9 movies into a franchise, you do need something that's fresh and different. And I think Spiral brings us that.
Yes. Yeah. For
Uh,
sure.
a different approach to the film, a different tone for sure because it's Chris Rock. Like,
Yeah. Oh,
and
it was so funny.
yeah,
I was so surprised. I mean, it shouldn't have been a surprise, but
right,
like I saw a movie, I was like, okay, he's just gonna be full serious. And
yeah,
there were plenty of times where me, my brother, and my cousin were just laughing so hard. I don't
right.
know if anybody else was laughing, but we were it was hilarious.
Yeah, I was laughing, and but it was two different kinds of laughs. One was definitely just because Chris Rock and the cast, Sam Jackson, like they're funny. They were doing
Yeah.
funny stuff in the movie. The other is when Chris Rock tries to go super dramatic. You know that stare that
Yeah.
it's kind of like a stare at the camera,
Yeah.
which feels very meta. Like, "Hey, you see what I'm doing? You see how
Yeah.
I'm acting." Like, I found that really funny too, but it still fit in the movie. Like,
Yeah, it didn't feel like it was forced.
yeah,
Any of the comedy was out of place. It was extremely well
mhm,
timed, and yeah, it definitely felt like that somebody in this world would be kind of doing these kind of things, and it's
yeah,
not like, oh, somebody's dying and then we're cracking jokes. No, it was at the correct spots.
yeah. And I was kind of on the fence whether to put the Chris Rock stare into the positive or the negative, because I didn't want it to feel like we were making fun of the Saw franchise.
Yeah,
But knowing that he's a fan and knowing of the team behind this movie, I wouldn't expect them to be making fun of it.
no, I
If
didn't feel that way.
it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like scary movies spoofing off those other movies, right? It
Yeah,
feels more like Scream being meta about horror movies and about that, but in the Saw universe.
yeah, yeah.
Um, there's definitely like the first movie, which kind of has, or the first part of the series that has a lot of commentary on uh, health insurance and the health system. There's a lot of commentary on this movie as well, but it's
Yes.
not heavy-handed. It's not just like in your face.
Yeah,
Um,
I thought they did a really good job at balancing it
mhm,
while some of the police issues
yeah,
obviously are there. It wasn't necessarily a focus and end all be all
right.
type thing. It wasn't anything like that.
Yeah, like it was a theme of the movie, but it wasn't the movie. It wasn't what the whole movie was about.
Yeah.
So because it's difficult. Like, Chris Rock is a detective. He's our protagonist, but then we're surrounded with this whole cast of people that are also part of the force, but you don't really know. And like any Saw movie, we've been conditioned to suspect everyone,
Yep.
right? Um, I like the callbacks to the original. Like, we see, pictures of Jigsaw. Um,
The
so
saw.
yeah,
You get
yeah,
the saw.
the just everything that the world feels authentic like that. I feel like that's really how the real world would react to something like the events of the Saw movies,
Yep. Yep.
where people would have to go on with their normal everyday lives, but then as soon as some shit started happening, like,
Oh
yeah,
hell
that
no.
would be the center of attention, right?
He's dead, right?
Exactly, exactly. Um, let's see. Is there anything else you want to talk about in our non-spoiler review for Spiral? Jesus, I keep want to call him Jigsaw.
Not just, I think it's a pretty good watch.
Mhm.
It's not full gory like like the most recent ones is
Yeah,
definitely. I didn't feel the traps were the center of attention in this one. They
right.
definitely played a part, but they weren't the center of attention. So good or bad, if you really like the traps, maybe you don't like this as much. But I thought it was a good balance of you get some good traps, you get
Yeah,
some, good story. And then, like I said, for the because when somebody asked me about it, and I said, there's obviously some cop stuff going on in there, and
right,
they're like, oh,
right.
so they're making a political statement, and I was like, well, like I never felt like we said just a second ago that
Yeah,
it wasn't in your face, it wasn't center of attention, it was there
right.
obviously, but it's not something that takes away or
Yeah.
anything like that, so you don't have to worry about that, I guess, if that
And
bothers
I
you.
think I think most art makes a statement of some kind anyway. So like,
Yeah.
it just really depends on the approach, and then also your mindset going into the movie. Like, if you want to just go in and have a good, like, Chris Rock is in this movie. I can't stress that enough. Like,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a fun movie.
Yeah.
Uh, and I have thoughts on the traps, but I want to save that for the spoiler.
Same.
So stay tuned. Well, and even your commentary that they weren't the focus, but I don't want to go into it because it would be spoilery.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm gonna save that. So if you want to watch that, go check out the full spoiler review. It'll be out soon, or it's already out by the time you're watching this. Um, but until next time, thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment. Let us know if you like the movie or not. If you think it's worthy of being able to watch it at the theater, or would you recommend people wait till it's out on some kind of video on demand service? Which I'll definitely rewatch this now that I know how everything kind of plays out. It'll be interesting to go back and rewatch it.
Yeah. Per
Um,
usual.
yeah, I think all the good Saw movies, it's fun to go back and rewatch it. Like, look for all the little clues and
Yeah.
everything that you missed the first time. All right. Well, thanks, Austin, for joining me for this. We'll have you back for more of these movie reviews now that we're actually going to the movies and back to the theaters.
Yes.
So thanks everyone for watching. Bye bye.